You find out about the get-together from the photos afterward. The group chat has a version that doesn't include you. People are friendly to your face, and plans still form around you. And when you ask, there's always a reason. It was last minute. It was a small thing. They thought you were busy. Meanwhile, you're honest. You're kind. You skip the gossip and the flattery and the games. And you're the one on the outside. So at some point, you turn the search inward, replaying conversations, going back over everything you said, hunting for the flaw that would explain it. Call off that search. The explanation lives inside the people doing the excluding, and once you see how it works, the whispering behind your back starts to sound completely different. Being authentic means the things you think, the things you say, and the things you do all point in the same direction. That's the entire definition. The word gets confused with brutal honesty, or oversharing, or refusing to ever compromise. The real thing is narrower and quieter than any of that. Authenticity is the refusal to manufacture a false version of yourself to purchase approval. Now consider how rare that refusal is. Most people began editing themselves so early and so gradually that they never noticed it happening. A laugh adjusted here, an opinion swallowed there. A personality slowly sanded down into whatever shape the room rewarded. By adulthood, many people haven't spoken as themselves in years, and the performance runs so smoothly they've forgotten it's a performance at all. You decline to make that trade. That single difference explains almost everything about your social life. Because most social groups run on a set of agreements nobody ever says out loud. Laugh at the joke whether it lands or you don't. Match the group's complaints. Praise what the group praises. Join the gossip, because shared gossip is glue. Two people bonding over a third person's flaws get to feel close to each other without ever having to be honest about themselves. And underneath all of it sits the real deal, the one that holds the whole thing together. Keep my performance going, and your performance stays safe with me. An authentic person walks into that arrangement and just doesn't play along. The laugh stays honest. The gossip session gets your silence. The question everyone else answers with a script gets a real answer from you. You carry no agenda into any of this. You're simply present as yourself. And to a group invested in performing, your presence lands as judgment, even when there's zero judgment in you. People who gossip constantly experience silence as superiority. People faking their enthusiasm all day read plain honesty as intensity. People who answer everything from a script hear a real answer as a challenge. A social life built on pretending measures itself against every person who won't pretend, automatically, all day long. Something deeper is happening too. A person performing a character feels strangely exposed around someone who isn't performing at all. Your ease with yourself shines a light directly onto their unease with themselves. Just by existing without the act, you become a mirror, and the reflection asks a question most people have spent decades avoiding. What would happen if the performance stopped? Nobody experiences this consciously. No one in that group is thinking, this person's genuineness threatens the character I've constructed, so exclusion it is. It surfaces sideways, as vague discomfort. She's a lot. He's kind of intense. Something's just off there. Notice how empty those phrases are. Nobody can ever name the actual thing that's off, because the actual thing is inside them, and naming it would cost them the performance. So the group does what groups have always done with mirrors they'd rather avoid. They turn the mirror to face the wall. Excluding you removes the reflection. The show goes on undisturbed. There's a second force underneath the first one. Performers are predictable. A performer will say what the room wants, agree when agreement is expected, and keep the group's shared fictions fully intact. You might do something else entirely. You might tell the truth. The group can never be sure what you'll say, and the whole arrangement depends on being sure. Groups instinctively manage risk, and the person who might say the true thing out loud is the single biggest risk in the room. That risk is also why they talk behind your back instead of to your face. Behind the back is where performers are fluent. A face-to-face conversation with you would have to be honest. That's the only language you speak, and honesty is precisely the thing the group is organized to avoid. So they process you in the shadows instead. The whispering is the group resynchronizing its story about you. You feel it too, right? They're checking that everyone still agrees on the official version of you. The official version matters to them because it protects them from the true version. You were never the problem. Understand what the whispering actually is. It's the sound of people soothing each other. It's the group repairing a crack that your presence briefly opened in the script. The subject of that conversation is technically you, and the content of that conversation is entirely them. Their unease, their exposure, their need to feel unified again. You could be replaced by any other honest person and the whispering would sound exactly the same, because it was never describing you in the first place. It was describing their discomfort, wearing your name. Hold some compassion for them, from a distance. Almost everyone in that group learned to perform for reasons that made sense once. A childhood where love was conditional. A school where standing out got punished. A workplace where the honest person got quietly shelved while the agreeable one got promoted. They watched what happened to truth tellers, and they adapted. The performance began as protection. Somewhere along the way it hardened into a prison, one they now guard voluntarily and recruit for, and defend against anyone who reminds them the door was open the whole time. That prison is the thing you were excluded from. You were never playing their game in the first place. What their exclusion took from you was access to counterfeit belonging, closeness built on synchronized pretending, the kind that dissolves the moment anyone in the circle gets sick, gets poor, or gets real. What their exclusion left you with is the full capacity for genuine connection, which most of them gave up years ago and now miss without knowing what they're missing. Being excluded by people who perform keeps you out of rooms that would have cost you your self-respect one small compromise at a time. A swallowed opinion here, a fake laugh there, for years. It hurts, and it's also doing you a favor. An invitation into that group was always an invitation to perform. Authentic people end up with fewer connections and deeper ones. One friend who knows the whole truth of you outweighs an entire crowd that only knows the character you'd have been required to play. So let them continue. There's no record to correct and nothing to prove. The story where you're the problem is holding something up for them. As long as you're the difficult one, the exclusion makes sense, the performance stays justified, and nobody in that group has to sit with what your presence actually made them feel. Their self-image needs the villain. They'll keep that version of you alive for years, retelling it, updating it, defending it, long after you've stopped thinking about them at all. And none of that work falls on you. The character lives with them now. They feed it, they carry it, they keep it going. Your actual life is happening somewhere else, with people who never asked you to perform. You, facing forward. Them, clustered behind your back, murmuring. For a long time, that picture felt like proof that something was wrong with you. Read it the other way. The performance is behind you. The whispering is them, working to keep your character alive. And everything in front of you is real.